other thing, I remember this word Mombasa floating around, which ties into that he portrayed himself as a foreign student. Mm-hmm. And I remember I didn't even know what Mombasa was. Only later on, upon going to school and learning a little geography, did I know that Mombasa was a place in Kenya.
Suck. The monolithic.
Welcome to Mombasa, beautiful island on the east of Africa, beautiful Kenya, wonderful people, great hospitality, Mombasa, karibu Mombasa.
Going to school and learning a little geography, did I know that Mombasa was a place in Kenya.
Suck. The Monte Vista Christian 7th grader has written President Obama to tell him the presidents before him are his cousins. She hopes to present this family tree chart personally to the president. But Bridjan has her skeptics, including this reporter.
Yeah. I remember saying that at the time. He's a Muslim? Wow.
He's bombing the shit out of a lot of Muslims. Isn't that funny?
That does sound pretty Muslim now that I say it out loud. But that having been said, their crazy attacks, you just have an instinct to go, that's not fair, that guy.
I know. That's right. So when you see someone unfairly attacking Barack Obama, your reflex was to defend him. And exactly what Patrice O'Neill said. If the people who are attacking Barack Obama would have stopped, black people could have told the truth about it.
After their personal chef died in a paddleboard accident near their estate on Martha's Vineyard.
Disturbing details are coming out about the suspicious death of Barack Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell, and reports recently appeared that Tafari was writing a tell-all book before he drowned last month.
Bama is most commonly used to refer to a high sacred place, as well as the heights of the heavens or even the clouds. So, Barak Obama in Hebrew poetry, similar to the style of Isaiah, would translate literally as lightning and the heights of the sky or heaven. Satan is Satan in Hebrew. So this Jesus prophecy of Luke 10:18, if spoken actually today by a Jewish rabbi, if we heard him saying this audibly as he did to the disciples, influenced by the poetry of Isaiah, it would have sounded like this. I beheld Satan as Barack Obama.
Lightning!
We have things planned, for example, Ukrainian zomba, where people can get up and join in. We have a special Ukrainian dance teacher who is going to lead that. We have things for the keiki to participate in, sort of simple jewelry making and things with the Ukrainian theme. And
I think I mentioned that we were not getting any help from federal government so far. Some people, I'm guessing, are getting the 700. We never received the 700, which, wouldn't go very far here in Hawaii. We're mostly getting help from private organizations, nonprofits, but even we're having trouble using their resources because Airbnb has been very difficult throughout all of this.
Water is one of the earthly manifestations of God and Akua Kane. And so that reverence for a resource and that reciprocity in relationship was something that was really, really important. We've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? To me, it's a shift in value set. Really, my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
You know what? Forget it. I'm not explaining it to you because then it's not funny.
All she's saying is this guy is the great 25th, 27th, depending on what line it is. He created all this family. So do I believe it? Yes. It's hard, but it's true.
The truth hurts, but it also helps.
Does it? We don't want this to become a cleared space where then, yes, people from overseas just come and decide they're going to take it. The state will take it and preserve it first.
Had they made it. Wasn't until I walked into the emergency room that I saw that they were there. The difference between knowing somebody's gone and worrying whether they're available to come back, two different things.
And an angry fire god in the volcano will sink the island, since the fire god got his properties, and the Waponis are scared.
The mission of the East-West Center, as it was designed in 1960, when then Senator Lyndon Johnson really brought this to Congress, that there needed to be a place where we could promote understanding among people and nations. And that's really a result of the devastation of World War II.
The founding of the East-West Center comes at an extraordinarily convergent time when America's Pacific presence played an important role in the redevelopment and development of shattered Asian societies after the war.
You know, and I remember one of the people who helped me the most was Danny Inouye. He helped bring me back, so I know the feeling that as many of the people in this town, this community, that hollow feeling you have in your chest like you're being sucked into a black hole.
Target locked in 10, 9.
Okay, God, let me have it.
Look behind you. Insane. Whoa, did you see that just shoot across? Did anyone else see that?
Meanwhile,
that's the media mogul handing out supplies at a local shelter in Lahaina, including pillows, cots, and toiletries.
So I came earlier just to see what people needed, and then went shopping. Because often, you make donations of clothes or whatever.
You guys don't know, if you haven't been to Maui, if you whatever, this is the gentleman that sits right next to Cheeseburger in Paradise. He sits at I used to call it like, ground zero of Lahaina. It's like Lahaina Luna and Front Street. That's his turf right there.
Funneled into the Cannery Mall, and of course the other end is Front Street, which we know was backed up terribly in those critical hours.
And I also believe that prayer is essential at this time, so.
YAHWEH does not need your prayers, but you need your prayers to remind yourself. That's what prayers are, is to remind yourself who you are. YAHWEH does not need your prayers to exist. We need our prayers to exist and to receive the messages from Him.
To receive the discernment,
yes.
And what the call to action is, the marching orders, if you will.
I always pray for wisdom and discernment, and that I don't go to the left or the right. And sometimes I do, I admit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say things that I wanted to say, but I didn't say. I think we're all guilty of that.
For sure.
But I'm aware of it, and when it happens, I stop it. I do it. I'm trying to be, I am a servant of the Lord. To what degree? I'm not the least, I'm not the most. I'm whatever degree that is. That's the way I see myself. And all I wanted in life, I had a request to the Lord that before I die, I want to know the truth. I don't want anything else, just that. I want to know the truth.
And the concept of the 15-minute city, which I thought when I first heard about it was some kind of conspiracy theory, but no, they're serious about this. Where you live, the ideal is you can do everything you need to do in your life within a 15-minute walk. You can work, you can recreate, you can go to the restaurant, you can go to the grocery store, everything within 15 minutes. That's the ideal.
So high density essentially means a lot of apartments or a lot of housing in one area, right?
Exactly. And you can walk to all your amenities.
Today, I'm appointing Bob Fenton. It's here. Where are you, Bob? There he is. I'm appointing Bob Fenton as our Chief Federal Response Coordinator for Maui.
Those in attendance were quite literally the who's who of disaster response, both locally and from across the Pacific region. They were gathered in Waikiki for an annual FEMA disaster meeting, a half-hour plane ride away from a wildfire that would become the deadliest in the United States in more than a century. Thousands were unaware they were in the crosshairs of a deadly inferno. That evening, Lahaina town was leveled.
So many people that I know said we never knew anything about the fire.
That same day, several of the country's top emergency management officials were in Hawaii hosting an annual conference. The agenda listed 74 attendees at this year's Pacific Partnership meeting, including FEMA leadership and several members of the Center for Homeland Defense and Security.
We are witnessing the largest and fastest military buildup since World War II.
Closest thing I can compare it to is perhaps a war zone where maybe a bomb went off.
And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it, and we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway, I'm going to hush up, Mary, fire away.
A state of shock is not just what happens to us when something bad happens. It's what happens to us when we lose our narrative, when we lose our story, when we become disoriented.
I've identified FEMA's Administrator Griswold to lean forward, as she always has done, to help survivors get immediate aid.
Oprah Winfrey, a Maui homeowner, lending a helping hand.
And lightning struck at home.